I was not getting the job I wanted, and I returned to India. And that I felt was the single most biggest failure point of my life, where I'm like, this is it. I've wasted money, I wasted my time, I have no career, nothing to speak to. That was a very easy transition, okay, because I sucked at coding. I cannot write code lines to say hello world. So I'm like, if I don't know this, and everybody who was in the same field as me, they all told me, you have to learn coding, you have to learn. And I tried and it didn't work out. It's just not for me.
Which is also a myth, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Like coding is not the only tech role there is,
Correct.
but it's just a myth.
That you need to know this because you want to qualify for jobs. All my friends are doing good and I suck, and I'm like not good there. I mean, something majorly wrong with me.
In case nobody told you yet, you don't suck.
That's not what you tell me off cameras though.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Early Career Podcast. This is your host and friend Priyanka Mahankali, and today we are here to introduce you to one of my very, very special, close friends who not only is my support system in North America, but someone who also challenges me intellectually. And you know, it's very hard to challenge me intellectually. So please join me in welcoming Amaara Haani. Hi.
Hello. Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Sit. So this is best friends turned
podcasters,
whatever the verb is for doing
we
this.
Use it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how are you feeling, this being your first podcast? I know you have a lot to share, but how are you feeling?
I feel good. I'm excited, especially doing this with you, seeing all your podcasts so far. This is like a great opportunity for me, and I'm excited to be part of your journey.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your time, Amaara.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. I never take someone coming on my podcast and doing this with me for granted. So thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
You know, I was thinking of many ways to start this episode, but I think the best way to start it is to kind of just dive right into some of your struggles, because everyone knows about the tip of the iceberg, Amaara Haani, successful, technologist, someone who has a great career trajectory so far, and I know you're going to be very successful in the future as well. But I think what I want people to know about you is also who you are and how you got to this point of where you are now, right? So is there a moment in time when you journey back, probably in the last 10 years, where you felt like, you know, the struggle was just so intense? Was there like a specific point that you wanted to start with?
Yeah, so I think for me, this whole career trajectory started with the failure, or what I thought was a failure, right? Just like you know, we met in our masters, we were doing masters, and everybody had the same goal: get a nice American job, live your American dream. But for me, that did not succeed. I was not getting the job I wanted, and I returned to India. And that I felt was the single most biggest failure point of my life, where I'm like, this is it. I've wasted money, I wasted my time, I have no career, nothing to speak to.
But why, so just let me pause. Why did you feel like this was the biggest failure? Because, you know, if you look at it logically, you were just going home, right? So I know there's
a lot to it, right? So of course, all of you were my friends, you and other people and all, and they were all successful or in a career or just making their own money. And I was struggling. While I was seeing everyone else succeed, I was struggling. Back then, if you had told me, this naive, innocent person, that everybody's journey is going to be different, everybody has their own path to walk on, I wouldn't believe you. It was just a concept. And I'm like, okay, if everybody could have it, why couldn't I? That means something's majorly wrong with me. And that's why I couldn't succeed. And, you know, to carry that burden back home, where people were waiting for you with expectations, with hopes that you would succeed in a very, very linear way, basically, right? Yeah. But success is never linear. What I thought was like the failing point, where I'm like, all my friends are doing good and I suck, and I'm like not good there. I mean, something majorly wrong with me.
In case nobody told you yet, you don't suck.
That's not what you tell me off cameras though.
Hey, I also tell you you're very smart.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but jokes apart, right? So that single point of what I considered to be a failure was what was the turning point in my life. That's where things started up. I met a lot of fun people. The career trajectory from there was just upwards, and I never looked back. And yeah, that's the journey.
Was there also like a subconscious, because we truly in India we believe in this concept of the American dream, right? And this bubble of America is the only place that you have to succeed, and if you don't succeed, then basically you're not going to succeed anywhere else. And I kind of hate this concept of, hey, I had to go back, you know. That's why I think when I said that about you to someone else, I was like, no, she didn't go back, she just went to India.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the back has a lot of underlying subconscious conditioning of failure, as you said, right? So can you tell us a little bit about, is that American dream or that concept of the North American bubble being the only way to succeed really true? Because, I'm finding myself washing dishes every day. That's all I do.
That's what I do too, on most days, just loading the dishwasher. But I think this whole American dream or working outside of India, it's so glamorized because of what we are seeing on social media, what we are seeing on movies and TV shows, that there is an underlying struggle that most people don't end up seeing, right? Unlike in India, you wash your own bathrooms, you wash your own dishes and all that. And that's like a norm over here.
Yeah.
And people in India don't see that, and they say, okay, the dollars and the Mercedes and the BMWs, that comes with a lot of struggle, people, and it's so overrated.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in India, people are achieving all that, plus getting themselves the comfort in life.
And we're almost envying our friends back in India. We're like, oh my God, you don't have to clean the bathroom?
Yeah.
That's our biggest problem.
Yeah. So when I came to Canada, the one person I missed the most
is
my house help. My house help. I missed her so much. I love, by the way,
how you call her help and not servant or something. That's
That's
great. I mean, I was actually going to say servant, and I was like, no, that sounds wrong. Yeah, that is wrong.
I mean, she's not my servant. I pay her.
Right.
She comes, does my work, so she's my house help. So I missed her so much. When I went back to India, every time I go back, I make sure to meet her and tell her how much I appreciate her, because she took a chunk of my work.
Right.
So how are you defining success right now? Me doing all my work, or me being able to afford different people to help me with my work?
Yeah.
So that's always an overrated kind of logic, that American dream is the only dream.
Right.
It's no more the case. The economies don't work that way anymore.
And India, I mean, let's just say it, right? Call it what it is. India is developing at such a fast pace now. Every time I go to India now, I'm like, whoa, are we able to get our groceries in like 10 minutes, like delivered to our door?
It's amazing.
Good job, Zepto, or all the other companies.
Urban India is amazing. There's no two ways about it. Yes, there's pollution, there's noise and all that, but you're not living in it. We're all living in our really posh apartments or houses and everything, where everything is super convenient for you. So going back to India, I realized it's not really that bad. It is actually better than what I had back then.
Right.
Everything is more affordable for me right now. And all you need is like that one job to take you to that zero to hero kind of trajectory.
Right. So let's unwrap this a little bit, where when you left the US and went to India, how did everyone react? I haven't asked this question to you ever before, so this is new for me too.
Oh, well, I mean, there were multiple reactions, right? Like, some of my family was happy to have me. Some in my family said, hey, you just wasted your parents' money. You better get married and, pay them back. So there was a mixed bag of reactions, and it was so difficult for me not to take in the positive and the negative and just like be true to myself. It wasn't the first nice few months, it wasn't, but I do have support of mom and dad who's like, it's our money, our daughter, you wasted it. We don't call it that. You have your degree, you worked hard, you came back to us, that's all that matters to us, right? But it's very difficult to sort of deafen your ears to everybody's opinion and just follow your path, because you hear a lot of noise, but you have to like close your ears to your noise and just focus on the goals, because failure is good. But the one thing that I told you earlier, my VP sales told me is, you have to fail, but always fail upwards. And that's something, it's a concept that you understand in life as you go through multiple failures. And that's what I took out of it. Failure, but what can I do better to not be in that situation again?
Right. So you said that you had self-doubt at that time, which was natural.
Yeah.
Then you went to India and there was a struggle for many months. How did you get to that, the job that you were working in at India for how many, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, 5
Right?
years, yeah.
How did you transition from not having a job to having a job, and then also like having the job that you actually loved?
Yeah, yeah. So for me, I've always been this person who likes talking to people. I might come out as a very introverted person in my professional life,
Yeah.
but you know me better. Like, I love listening to people, right? And then there were multiple.
I don't know how much you listen to me though.
I listen to you a lot. You know that. So there were multiple options in front of me. I could either get back into the back end stuff, like I can go back to doing a quality assurance analyst or a business assurance analyst kind of thing. Business analyst, what is business assurance? So yeah, I don't know what's a business assurance analyst, but yeah, I had that options and they were paying decently well. I'm like, I wasn't really into it. And then I met a friend who said, hey, I work in this company called Freshworks, and there might be a good chance for you in the sales development team. That's going to be a entry-level role, but they pay you decently well. The office is great. The atmosphere is great. So I did my research and I'm like, hey, the office looks so cool. I would love to work here. So I went in for one interview for a business analyst role. I did the rounds and they said you're overqualified for that role.
Overqualified.
Yes.
Wow.
They didn't
and what
want
makes someone overqualified?
They didn't want someone with masters and existing work experience on that role. They wanted somebody more moldable for that role. And then I was like, oh no. And then she's like, okay, I have one more role. This was a sales development role. I know the person really well, the manager and all that. Just go in for the interview. I did the one interview and I just had to talk in the interview, nothing else. And I got selected. So when I started the role, I had no idea what it was going to be. I thought I'm just going to be a telecaller who'd say, hey, you want to buy my product? And I thought I'm going to crush it. And then when I started it, it was opposite of being a telecaller. It's so much strategy. There's so much kind of patience you need to be a sales development rep, right? Because you get rejected on a daily basis by multiple people and you have to be resilient to do that role. So I did that for 2 years.
How did you, I really have to ask this question. I have to pause you and ask you this. How did you deal with the rejection on a daily basis?
I mean, it was tough in the beginning, right? Because there's something called cold calling that we do a lot and we are supposed to make 100 dials. Some of the people will pick up the call and they'll just be plain rude. They'll just use bad words. They'll be like, hey, don't disturb me. Why are you bothering me? Cut the call. First two of them or first few of them feel bad, but then you have your colleagues sitting with you who are going through the same thing, and that becomes a funny moment for them. So
you found a community too.
A community. It's always the a team that works with you, and we make a funny movement out of it. Who got the worst cold call pickups right now?
Funny.
Who got abused today? So
that would be a great podcast itself.
It would be. If you want to sit down with sales reps and say, hey, how did you get abused today? It'll be amazing. It'll be really funny. There's one call that went to my friend like, hey, Indians are farmers, what are you doing calling me? And the worst part, the person on the other line was an Indian.
Oh my God.
So that happens.
Wait, so they said what? Who is the Indian farmer?
Yeah, you guys are good at farming, right? Why don't you go back and do that?
Then you should be like, I'm trying.
I wasn't my call, it was a friend's, but it was fun. And you always had a team who would laugh it out and all. Because just because you've been rejected and you feel sad and you're crying about it doesn't mean that you can't complete your metrics. That's your basic job. You have to wipe your tears, pick up the phone again and do the next dial and be ready for it. So that's how you learn and you develop things. And it's just not calling and saying something random. It's about having your elevator pitch. You're having your 28-second pitch or 27-second pitch and trying to capture the person's attention in the 10-15 seconds you get. So it's just about learning about how to start the conversation in the right way is what you learn, and how to reach out to people with the right messaging. So there's a lot of nuances that go into just one email you send out, right? So that's what you learn.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. I have a whole segment specifically for that because I think a lot of people need to hear this. How to actually reach out to someone, and it's not, cold calling is not what people think it is, right? Or cold messaging is just sounds derogatory, like, oh, I'm just gonna say, hey, hi. I sometimes receive messages from people saying, hi, how are you?
Yeah. That's the worst.
I mean,
how can I help you?
I'm fine.
do I know you?
Yeah. Or like, hey, you work at Amazon, so I want a job.
Oh, yeah. Can you
Please,
refer me to
can you
some jobs?
No,
not
jobs
even that.
ID. Just can you get me a job?
No, I
I'm
wish.
like,
Like, hey,
can you get me a job?
Sure. I'm not the HR. Like, I have people coming in like, hi, I've learned so much about your company. Your company does this. Do you have any open roles for me? I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to reach out to the recruiter, which is why I had interviewed in my our last episode. I interviewed a recruiter from Amazon who gives her view of, okay, how do people reach out? Which, yeah, if you guys are interested, you should watch it. But coming back to the sales aspect of it, I know you mentioned sales and not tech. And you did your master's in when you were in the US in information
information systems.
Yeah, information systems. Yeah, you were like the more lesser. You were the computer science. Yep.
I know. I chose it because it was going to be easy. No, you're right.
Hey, computer science was yeah.
I didn't want to do coding, so I chose information systems.
I mean, at some point I envied you because I was like, oh, I don't want to do coding either. But so was that a choice to go into sales, or was that a life occurrence that just happened to you? And how did you take that? Because we come from Indian families, Indian backgrounds, where it's like either you have to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. If not, then something's right.
So just to say why I got into sales, I'll go back a few years, okay? And I think I've not told you about this incident. So this was during campus recruitment in undergrad.
This was when you were in
India.
India, okay.
Yeah. Campus recruitment in undergrad in Chennai. And I was interviewing at some company, I forgot which one. So they do your aptitude test and they call you for in-person interviews or something like that. It was a back-end, like I think a QA role. And the interviewer asked me, hey, what do you prefer? Do you prefer doing this, or do you prefer being the front face of the company talking to people? In a QA interview, I said, I would prefer being in front of people. And
so then, of course, they
rejected you.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. And then when sales happened, I thought about this. And I could have left anytime. I could have moved into other direction at Freshworks once I completed the 2 years, and that was the direction I was thinking I would go. But when sales happened, and I realized that, hey, there's so much strategy to it, and not one day is similar to the next. Every day is a different challenge. Every customer is a different customer, because you're not dealing with machines. You're dealing with humans. People, you're dealing with humans and emotions and everything, right? So that's what kept me going in sales. And I knew from the beginning, my teammates, one of them who later became my husband, told me you should go into marketing. You should do this. We have to get into that. We have to go into marketing and all that. I'm like, no, I think sales development, I'm going to become an account executive after that. And that's the way I see myself. Like, I was very determined on that. I didn't listen to anybody about it. And that's the trajectory I went to. It's not like I'm an expert right now. I'm learning, but I love what I do. Literally love what I do.
So then you actually kind of felt like this sort of almost the soul connection to the role that you actually. Correct. You know what? This is exactly like how I tell you guys when I became a solutions architect, when I got that role when I joined AWS, and it was customer facing. And initially, I also thought of myself to be this major introvert, sitting in the last bencher, not talking to anybody, and then all of a sudden I'm having executive conversations with customers. Like, what? And that's what you have to do for a living, and then I thought I would suck at it, and it became actually my core competency, where I actually realized, wow, this is the role I was actually looking for subconsciously, which I didn't want to admit, because you just think, oh, you have to either be a developer or like a analyst, business.
Yeah, that's our typical professions.
You have to be Indians, developers, that's it, right?
That's what we are,
Exactly. So go ahead, anyway.
Yeah, so what was your question again? Sorry, we spoke so much in between.
No, so the acceptance of your transition from wanting to do something technical to like being in sales fully.
Yeah, so that was a very easy transition, okay, because I sucked at coding. I cannot write code lines to say hello world. So I'm like, if I don't know this, and everybody who was in the same field as me, they all told me, you have to learn coding, you have to learn. And I tried and it didn't work out. It's just not for me.
Which is also a myth, by the way, right? Like, coding is not the only tech role there is, but it's just a myth.
That you need to know this because you want to qualify for jobs. And when sales came up, I'm like, hey, I have to use my brain here, and a lot of strategy, a lot of research that goes in. I embraced it. I loved it. And also the thing with sales is there's instant gratification that you get from it, because there is a commission component associated to what you do. So if you do well, you see your paychecks
But also if you
coming
don't
well.
do well, then you
also don't, you see that side as well. Thankfully in my career I've been on the other side where I've seen the paychecks more, and I strive.
And can you give me some of it as well?
Sure, take it.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I strive to be on the other side, but it's not always that I'm, my commission checks are coming in and I'm like huge amount. There is of course a struggle, but there's always a way to come out of the non-performance and go into performance, right? So during your non-performance times is when you learn, okay, I've done this wrong, and this is what I need to improve. Right. So it's a cycle that you have to go through at all times.
Right. So then you were doing that for what, 4 or 5 years, as you said?
Yeah.
And then you had some successes, and then you moved to Canada.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How did that happen? And I know that I know the reasons, but it's manifold.
Yeah.
but because I'm sure you didn't assume that you would kind of come back to North America, right? When you moved back to India from the US. So, how did that happen?
So I did try coming back to North America. I didn't take the right ways. I thought I'll do an MBA back in the US, go there and, change my career trajectory. I tried applying for a PR, but that's when they had slowed down the process. But then my husband came into picture.
Life
happened, and he was doing his MBA in Canada, and we got married, and I moved with him. So I moved while working for my company in India, which was still paying me in INR, because we have to first figure out issues with the visas and everything. And there was always a promise on the table that once you get the visa, we'll move you to the payroll. So that shouldn't be a problem. So when I came here, and at this point in my career where I've worked for 5 years and I had done well and had built a network, I was very confident in saying, hey, I know I'll get a job here. Right. I know, because I know I'm good, I'll get a job here. That's what I told you as well. We had that conversation, and you said, hey, the market isn't good. And I'm like, I know I'll get it. I know it.
See, it's that confidence, right? And then there's people who are like, oh, making that an excuse to not actually get a job, right?
Yeah.
So, no, that's amazing that you found a great fit in this job market, which is, realistically hard, but the fact that you got it, I think speaks volumes to also your strong networking and community, and you're the queen of LinkedIn.
I mean, that's sales.
Half the time I see you on your phone, you're on LinkedIn. I assume you're on WhatsApp or Instagram, and then you're on LinkedIn.
No, I'm on LinkedIn. So. I observe content on LinkedIn a lot. But what happened once I moved here is actually I got a job offer from my old company's biggest competitor, and I jumped ships, and it was a no-brainer because I just like the culture here more. But LinkedIn for a salesperson is extremely important. This is where we build our networks, this is where we build our connections, and not just for a salesperson, anybody who wants to be in any sort of career, LinkedIn is the best bet you have. It's the easiest networking option that you can get. But again, you said we'll dive into it. You can't just go into somebody's DM and say, hey, can you refer me to a job?
Actually, let's dive into it. So, networking, it's a topic that I've been heavily indexing on in the last few months, because people keep asking you, how did you get this this job, or how do you get this role, or whatever.
Cut.
Yeah.
Because the mic was off. Sorry.
Mic was off?
No. So mic was covered.
Okay. It's like off.
No.
Okay.
Go
good.
for it.
Yeah, so everyone keeps asking me about how did you get this job, and oh, did you apply here, or did you? I'm like, really, it's just a great networking story. That's how I got this job, right? And people, I don't want them to believe just me, because maybe one person can be wrong, right? So please enlighten us with how do first of all, is networking really important enough that people should do it to secure jobs? But also not just for jobs, right? It's like this, we have long careers, right, that we need to sustain. So how should people see networking? Is it a waste of time? Is it a good thing to do? How to do it?
Yeah. So in my opinion, right, the other side of networking is, or another thing that I would call networking, is putting yourself out there. You need to put yourself out there for people to see who you are. And you don't have to have like a big profile or a big degree to say, hey, I'm an MBA in this, look at me. No, it is about putting your authentic self out. So I'll give you an example. A few years back, I was hiring someone at my old company, Avastage, and we were interviewing this person who had no work experience at all, right? They were just freshers. And not your ideal persona for the job that we were looking for either. So in sales, one of the most important thing is your command over English, how well you are able to communicate. And this person had their struggles with that. But what really like made us like him and hire him is he would go analyze the whole tech industry, like SaaS, what's new in SaaS, who got what investments, and he would post his opinion on it. And that was so good. Like this person had independent thinking capabilities,
right. Critical thinking
capabilities, and you don't have to be right about your opinion. There's no right or wrong in your opinion. It's just an opinion. There's nothing stupid about it.
And even
either.
if you are wrong, even if someone else perceives you wrong, that's okay.
That's fine.
They'll still remember
that's
you.
Fine.
They'll still remember you as someone who said something that they didn't like, but they'll still remember you.
They'll still remember you, and that's what your aim should be, right? So we did hire this person. This person came in, worked with us for a couple of years, and then he went to work for CEO's office for a few more years. And CEO's office is a very strategic role. You just don't give it to about anybody. It might sound like an assistant's role, but it's not an assistant's role. Cut. Something's happening with the mic.
You want to put it somewhere else?
No, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, okay. It's not a assistant role. You have to be very strategic in the thought process, right? And that's what this person was. So I would say, like, even for freshers or whatever, social media is definitely a thing, but LinkedIn is your best bet.
Even more than resumes?
More than resumes, for sure, because your resume building, AI can do it for you. AI can take care of that for you. But
so AI everyone's resume looks the same, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, but AI cannot go network for you.
Yeah.
AI cannot go to a recruiter saying, hey, trust me, I'm good. No, you have to go reach out to that recruiter or the hiring manager or whatever.
Right, yeah. So when people want to use LinkedIn, and let's say there's people who genuinely actually are trying but they're failing, what are some steps or tips you can give them? Maybe they're not sending the right message, maybe they're not reaching out to the right person in the company. So how do you, because I know you do a lot of research to find the right people in the company, reach out to, that is step one.
Yeah.
Because if you reach out to like a developer versus a recruiter, you get two different responses. The developer is going to say, hey, I don't know what roles are open. Recruiter is going to say, oh yeah, you know what, I can check and tell you. Or you might even reach out to the wrong recruiter within the same company.
Yeah.
Because maybe that recruiter is not responsible for the competency or the team that you need to get into, right?
Yeah.
So what are some tips for how should people do cold outreach or in your...
That's a great thing, and that's my day-to-day, right? So reaching out to people, there is no wrong person you reach out to. There is always a person who could be a path to reach out to the right person, right? But it is about how you reach out. You cannot message someone, again, like I said, hey, can you refer me? No, they can't refer you. You have to go find a role that you can do, send a link to that role and saying, I'm applying for this role, can you refer me? So for example, if I had to start out with my job search again, right, this is how I would leverage LinkedIn. I would pick out the companies I want to go into, I would see what are the jobs they have, and I would reach out to everyone that I think is possible to at least refer me or connect me to the right person.
So how would you know who, so if someone's, I'm not a professional LinkedIn user as much as you. So, okay, you go on LinkedIn, you go to the search bar and type?
So, that's a very good point that you made, right? So, if you're looking for jobs, for example, my kind of outreach research is completely different from that because it's a sales perspective. But if you're doing your job application, for example, there's of course LinkedIn job openings, right? And it gives you a lot of stats, like when it was posted, how many people have applied for it, all that. From there, you get the company name. Once you go into the company, there is a tab called people within that. And then if you say it's an engineering role, so you type out engineer on the search bar and you'll get a list of people or who are in the engineering team. If your role is going to be on QA, just type it out and you'll get a list of people. You might get the VP's contact, you might get someone who's probably just promoted from the role that they had, or someone who's a newbie. Here is where a little psychology comes in, right? So if you're going to reach out to the VP of engineering saying, hey, can you refer me to this QA role? More often than not, you're not going to get that reply. But if you go reach out to a peer saying, hey, I know I saw this role open and could you refer me? I have XYZ qualities. They are
peer
more
as
likely.
In peer in that same company.
Peer in that same company. Someone at the junior level, right? Because in reality, in a company, anybody can refer.
Right.
There's an open concept on that, right? It doesn't mean that you have to go to VP engineering. But if you go to someone at a junior level, they are more likely to respond to you, more excited to refer you, because there's always an incentive. Most companies have an incentive. So if you refer someone, they get a job, you get that money, right? So remember that, I would remember that concept, reach out to those people at that level. And again, the messages should be very short and crisp, because they are not people who have a lot of time, and AI is going to be your best friend to write those notes as well.
And the fact that just because you're reaching out to someone doesn't mean that the other person has to respond.
100%.
Right? Like we can't be entitled
100%.
to have that kind of a feeling that
100%.
I reached out, look, nobody responded, nobody gives. I mean, in fact, I've heard of people saying, I went to these networking events and you told me to go to these events, I went to these events, I tried to network, as you said, and then I reached out to them after that. Nothing happened. And then I asked them, so what did you say when you reached out? They said, hey, can I get a job? Or can you help me? And I'm like, no, you kind of also have to like build a relationship a little. It's kind of like dating, You don't go on one date and then say, hey, can you marry me now?
Yeah. Right? Creepy.
Right? Like you want to know the person, you want to know that the other person is in it for the right reasons, right?
Yeah.
So, I always say, be generous in your networking, as in you give first before you ask for something. And this is just a human psychology thing, right? Like nobody wants to help someone who seems selfish, right? You want to help someone who cares about themselves but also cares about you and cares about just connecting with you. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, but and then people also talk about this concept of, but I can't do small talk. And I'm like, small talk is not what you think small talk is. So do you have any, like that's my opinion, but I'm sure, people are here to hear your opinion. So what's your opinion on that?
So the reality is I can't do small talk, but doesn't mean that I don't do small talk.
But what is the definition of small talk?
Small talk is like simple things like, hey, where are you from originally? Or how did you come to this event? Did you like take the public transport? Did you drive down there? That's how you build out that conversation. So if someone says, hey, we drove down there, did you find parking? I mean, I know this is in a downtown area, the parking must be difficult, or things like that. If I'm going to a new city where I'm networking and I see locals there, like, I just came here today, like, would you recommend something after this event?
Right, that's great, right? And then maybe they might say, oh, you know what, actually, I'm also planning to go there. Do you want to join me?
That's
this is random.
likely not happening, but it could.
Yeah, exactly.
It could, right?
So, and so my opinion is that small talk isn't really small talk, because it's sort of like the foundation, like a little bit of the building blocks of creating those connections.
Yeah, right? And if you're always confused, talk about the weather. It's the easiest topic to talk about.
And people love talking about the fact that in their city and also it's a great way to find out where they're from. Yeah. Because where are you from? Oh, the weather for me in Toronto is, so hot today, and people love talking about it. Yeah. And I think it's the confidence with which you ask those questions is what matters more than the feeling of you thinking, this is just small talk.
Right? Yeah, and people like answering questions. People like it when you want to know about them. They like it when you're curious about them, right? So you can ask them, hey, where are you coming from? What is the weather like? How are you surviving this weather? There's so much you can talk. And like, trust me, I am an introverted person. When I go into my office events, I am, at least if it's with my colleagues, I'm the person sitting alone on the table and eating, and I love it. But when I'm going to meet customers or recruiters for that matter, I'm a different person. You have to make yourself uncomfortable to live a comfortable life. There has to be some certain level of uncomfortableness, right?
I love that.
And just another point I would like to add here, networking doesn't always mean you have to go to an event. Networking can happen on LinkedIn. You can send messages to 5-10 people, you can get 0 replies, but it's always in the numbers. You have to go out there, keep repeating that process, because you need one reply to change your life and change your career trajectory.
And you can't be discouraged by the no replies.
You can't, because nobody owes that to you.
Yeah.
Nobody owes that reply to you. So you can't be discouraged by that.
And you're the only one that's going to be at loss if you think,
if you stop doing that,
right?
You're the only one at loss. Nobody owes you their time.
Absolutely. And so what should be a general sort of, or at least things people should include or not include while they're crafting a meaningful message to someone?
Yeah, I love that question, and I'll tell you.
I know you have a lot to add, because that's what you do for a living.
I do that for a living, and this is what I advise to people who come to me and be like, "Hey, we're looking for a job." So, first, Gemini, ChatGPT, AI is your best friend. You don't have to worry about crafting that message. You just have to make sure that whatever message you're sending first doesn't sound like AI, doesn't sound too annoying. Like, hey, I love what you're doing out there. It really impresses me and blah, blah, blah. People know that's AI, right? And your messages have to be crisp and short. I'll wait for you to stop laughing. Like, I genuinely get so annoyed. Like, I love what you're doing. I've been following. I'm like, guys, no, I don't need to know that.
Exactly.
You just send me the link of the job you want and your resume, and that's good enough for me to refer you.
Yeah, and maybe like tell a little bit about
why you would be.
Why
you would be.
Exactly, yes.
And even that why shouldn't be a long-winded answer. It should be one line, one or two lines.
Right, one line.
Hey, I think I'd be a good fit for this role because I am hard. Please don't use I'm hardworking or smart or whatever. That is where AI comes in to help you.
Yeah.
Pass your resume. Ask AI what are the 2 points I can tell. AI is going to condense that for you, and then you can send that across. I mean, when we were looking for jobs, we didn't have AI there, but
we actually had to know this.
But AI is going to do that for you and leverage AI in the best way possible. Right. So that I would say that one, and two is having like either a video recording or a deck that talks about who you are, right? So there are tools called aligned rooms, which you can use for free. In aligned rooms,
how do you spell it?
ALIGNEDROOMs.
Okay.
Aligned rooms, right? Those are things that you can use for free, where you can create like a video, a 30 seconds video talking to recruiters about why you would be good, or a presentation of some project you have done related to the role, or some previous experience you have done, or some degree you have done, and why you would be good. And this content has to be short. People should be able to see the video, see your deck in a minute. That's how you should do. And when you're sending out your resumes, you send out the link saying, hey, I have done this. And that creates such an edge for you because nobody else is doing that.
Yep.
Nobody else is ready to put in that hard work to do that.
100%. At Amazon, we call that the elevator pitch, but in the context of literally, if you're working on an idea and you were to meet the CEO of the company in an elevator where you have just 5 seconds, what are you going to say?
What are you going to say?
Right?
Yeah. That's the concept of that. Right? Yes.
So, and I think that's saying the most impactful things in the shortest amount of words is the hardest thing.
It is.
And I think so when you guys are using AI, like make sure that your prompt is saying these things where it's like, hey, make sure that I'm able to create the most impact in the shortest amount of words.
Yep.
Make it, if you want it to be 2 sentences, say 2 sentences. So your prompt has to be specific.
Yep.
Because that AI can't know what you want, what kind of output you want out of it, right? But once you give the prompt, then AI is going to generate that the response that you want, right? So I completely agree that, use AI to the best that you can. And what is something then that people should not do? Like, it's a big no-no, like a big red flag. Like, please do not do it ever.
Don't send me long messages about how you admire what I do or what my company does.
Yeah.
If I see that, I just ignore it. Like, otherwise, I'm very open to referring people to my company the best way I can. Whether they get an interview or not is not in my hands, but putting their resume in the pool and telling the recruiter, please give them a chance. I'm very... I'm appreciative of doing that work, and I feel good that I can help somebody out. But if you're going to send me a long message saying I've done this, I've not even with I have done this, I appreciate you, I like what you're doing and all, that is not going to work. Yeah. Everybody knows that is not the kind of talk that will work in this current market.
Yeah. If you even want to say something appreciative, maybe just one sentence.
One sentence.
Like, hey, I saw this, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Move on, right?
Yeah.
Like basically don't make it fake. Don't make
Yeah.
it sound fake, right? Like if
Correct.
you actually like something about someone, it should sound authentic, and it should sound like you know, maybe there's something. For example, sometimes I reach out to some you know, people in my connections who I liked something about them that is very specific, though. It's not like, hey, I just like you as generally, right? It's something very specific, like, oh, I liked how you talked about this topic, or I liked how your approach is, or I like your personality, something specific. And then I asked them, oh, you know what, I actually want to know what drives you to be this person. Can we have a chat? So it's very specific. And then I also give them time frames. I'm saying, hey, in the next 2 weeks, do you have a time that works for you?
Extremely important.
Right?
That is extremely
Making things
important.
tangible.
Yes. So when you are reaching out to, there's something we do an outbound approach, right? We always end up our messages with, does next Wednesday look good for you at 10 a.m.? Does next Wednesday look good for you at 11 a.m.? We are supposed to be sending out that kind of line saying, give them a time frame of reference, right? Another very important point you brought up, and I'd just like to add a couple of things to it, is just review the person's resume, like, you know, their LinkedIn profile, what they are sharing, what they are liking, what they are posting about. There could be some hooks that you can find to reach out to them. Like, for example,
to personalize the message,
them.
yeah.
So once someone said, hey, I'm a big fan of Simpsons, and it was a small line on their LinkedIn. So I don't, like, I was not a big fan of Simpsons still not. So I'm like, I started my email with, hey, I have no funny Simpsons reference to give you, but this is why I'm reaching out.
There you go.
And it got a reply.
The icebreaker.
Yeah.
Right?
It got me a reply. So you don't even have to know what they're posting about. Don't have to go research and watch Simpsons to reply to them. Just say, I don't know much, but I just wanted to reach out to you, right? So there's a lot of creative ways that you can, you know, get your creative juices flowing when you had all these things, because there is literally no wrong way.
That's you know, thing I want to highlight in bold. Like, there is no wrong way. And even if you do something wrong, like, it's just trial. You just keep trying, and there's trial and error, and you just keep going, right? There's no, like, this shouldn't not getting a response shouldn't discourage you, basically, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And that's why I think in the very beginning I asked you about how do you handle rejection. I think because that's something people find the hardest to handle in different contexts.
Oh my God.
But rejections, like from interviews, rejections from dates, from career jobs, you know. So many different kinds of from feedback, like, you know, negative feedback, how to handle a difficult conversation, those kinds of things. And people, they completely stop themselves from doing what they were actually supposed to do. And you don't know, maybe you're like at the end of the tunnel where you're going to see light, right? So that's why I asked you how you handle rejections, which, I mean, even to this day, sometimes it does sting, right? Like,
it does. It's annoying because in our, like, line of work, rejection is the simplest theme, the biggest theme that there is. In any given AE's pipeline or account executive's pipeline, you lose 80% of the business that you have. You just win 20%. And that is if you're good. That's your win rate if you're good, right?
So you're expecting rejection almost.
You're expecting rejection. So we have this concept that I've learned in my new company that says, find the no. Where is the no? So you don't qualify someone as a good customer till you find the no. And then once you find the no, once you find the no, you find out what's the why behind it. Again, this is sales, this is very strategic sales, but it's relevant to all facets of life, right? Like, 4 years back when I started the AE role, I would cry if I lose a deal. I feel so stupid about it. I used to cry if I lose a deal. But now my approach is different, because now I'll take all my call transcripts, my interactions, I'll put it on Gemini. I'm like, okay, where did I go wrong? Critique me on this. What did I do well? What did I do wrong? And it'll give me, there's a more realistic, practical approach to overcome that right now, right? So a lot of that kind of things, Gemini, LinkedIn, your best friends, and you want day one, there's nobody who knows how to use it. Day one, you might be.
I was gonna say like consistency, right? I think that's the key. You have to keep doing this for years, like years at end. And I also want you to talk a little bit about how networking is not like a single turnkey switch for getting a job, right? You have to do it before you actually need something from your community.
Yep.
right?
Yep, for sure. And even for students, right? Like my brother is in university right now, and I have another nephew who's in 11th grade. They are both on LinkedIn, right? And I tell them both, you need to connect with people who you want to be in the future. See what they're doing right now. That's when you'll be able to build something by the time you're ready.
Yeah,
So
and then comment, right? Like comment on
be
people's posts,
active.
post your opinion, right? Those kinds
Be
of
active
things.
on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. You don't have to start with a comment, right? While you're understanding, just like people's posts. People notice
Right.
that. People notice the likes, and then when you have something to add value, or start with like, "Hey, this really inspired me," or "This was a very interesting read." That is good
Yeah.
enough. That is
Yep.
good enough as a starting point. And then when you start gaining knowledge, you can start commenting something more reasonable. But one very important thing, especially for students right now, right? They skip on LinkedIn like it's nothing. LinkedIn is, I don't know, I have so many good things to say about LinkedIn.
Your golden egg.
Oh my God, I love LinkedIn.
I can. That's why I call you the queen of LinkedIn.
Yeah, I love it. Like I can browse through LinkedIn and read people's stuff
Yeah,
all the
and
time.
ignore me while we're talking when we're.
That is like old me, okay? I don't do that anymore.
I'm just messing with
And
you.
that was Instagram.
Not even
even
thanks for being
LinkedIn.
specific.
Not even LinkedIn, okay? But there's so much content. Again, early careers, if you don't know where the networking events are in your cities or who to reach out to, just follow a few people on LinkedIn and they'll give you a blueprint of what to do.
Right.
That's also another concept. If you don't know, learn it from LinkedIn. It's right there. People who have walking in your shoes, people going through the journey, they will share what it is like. I don't post much on LinkedIn. It's more of a company thing. I have to put my company's front before mine, which is not mandatory. I just do it by choice. But when you follow people, like if you want to go into sales, there are people like Brian Lamanna that you can follow. If you want to go into sales development, there are so many different people that you can follow who have real genuine content that you can learn from, and you need to find those people.
Yeah. So you basically need to be a learner and you need to be curious.
You have to be a perpetual learner through life. Yeah.
And you have to be. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Before we get into the next topic, which is my favorite topic, anything else you want to add to conclude this networking segment? Because I know that this is very valuable. This served us really well in our lives, and I want it to also serve everyone watching this.
Yeah. So just one thing, never take networking for granted. This is not something where you go into one event, reach out to one person and get a job. It's a journey that you take, and it'll come into your help at some point in life. So, unexpectedly. So never take it for granted.
I love it. So the next topic is something that I think it's a favorite for all women, everybody, but specifically women, which is the journey of self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've had your struggles with, with your family and your how your life is now versus how your life was when you were younger, and that constant sort of difference that you had to kind of fight or balance. And so how did you, and I know that I see a very confident self in you now, and I think this is not something that just came to us. I think we learned to be confident, right, over time. So what was that, was there a point where you just felt like, oh my God, I can't feel more worse about myself than this. The only way is up now.
So many. But that's the thing with life, right? It's always like it's like an S curve. Its learning is always never linear. It's an S curve. So you go through a phase where you don't know anything, and then you learn, and then it saturates. And then there's another S curve in your life where, again, it's a whole journey, right? I think back at my ADP job when I was, I think, a QA over there many moons ago. Some people told me, you need to speak up because you're not bold enough, you're not going to progress. And it was true. I wasn't speaking up. I wasn't bold enough. A few years later, even at my job at Freshworks or Everstage, I used to be scared of asking questions because what if they thought I was stupid? And at that time, someone told me there are no such things as stupid questions. You'd be surprised how many stupid questions people ask. So I started framing my questions differently in that way. I'd start like, it might be a stupid questions, but this is mine. And more often than not, I found out my questions are not stupid at all. Right. I've thought through it. Now, self-love is it's a journey. There was never a conclusion to that journey. And the reality of a woman in sales is on most days.
That's what I was going to ask you.
On
like
most days.
Women in sales and Indian brown women in sales.
Yeah. It's a very niche place I am in right now, right?
Like you're a trailblazer. I don't think there's very few people who are Indian women in sales like you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, immigrant Indian women in sales, very few for sure. They might be in sales, solutions consulting or solutions engineering, but actual sales, it is very rare, right?
Like this is an account manager role, right? If anyone's wondering what's the formal role, it's an account manager.
Yeah. So we call it account executive, but it's the same role. So on most days, I'm the only woman in the room. Only woman, only brown person, only Muslim person in the room, right?
Of course.
But there's another reality is that my customers or people that I speak to don't perceive me like that. They see me as someone who, okay, maybe she knows her thing. Because that's the years of experience and knowledge that comes through with it, right? Nobody singles out my identity as Indian or woman or whatever. Sales is traditionally a boys' club. It is still a boys' club.
Not just sales. I mean, every corporate
is a boys' club. That's true.
But particularly sales is even more. Yeah,
it's a boys' club. I've seen recruiters or post of recruiters that say, hey, they interviewed 2 candidates. They just went with the guy because he's a guy.
Oh. Yeah. And I know you telling me. Remember you telling me about how you would get the lesser deal customers or potential customers than
and I know that company will still come out and deny it, but I'm like, no, I'm not buying that. You did what you did, right? So it would happen. And there was once a time in one room where I had just finished overachieving quota, and I'm sitting in a room, all guys, and one guy who was pretty new, who hadn't done much. He's coming and talking like a manager. He's like, you guys need to do this, you guys need to do that. And someone who had finished her quota and done really well, I didn't get a chance to speak. And that's where there was a mentality shift. Nobody's going to give you a chance to speak. You got to grab the chance to speak. You got to grab that chance to say, listen, I know. So from then, though I'm not the most active person in conversations, but I will try to add on something to say that I know what I'm talking about. So after that incident with this guy, I came back. I usually have a list of goals every beginning of the year, and the end of the year I check them off, just like a thing that I do. And that one goal that I wrote additionally in a separate pen color because I wanted to highlight it, I said, never let a room full of men quieten your voice or something like that. And I never will put myself in that situation again, because speak up. The worst that could happen is that you're saying something stupid, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's absolutely okay.
And I think as women, we are raised with this fundamental sense of insecurity about our looks and about our way of existence, right? And I think that carries into our professional lives, and then we sort of start to feel inferior than everybody else. So then we start to believe that, oh, of course, like if something happened, then I only must have done something wrong. Then you always then become this person that blames yourself, but then that's not going to sustain you long term. So then you're going to be stressed, and then people are going to complain about you not doing great work, but you're going to say you're so it's just it's
a cycle. It's a vicious cycle that you have to get into, right? But I think throughout this career journey, I have met some remarkable women, right? Even the company I'm currently working with, right? They have a CMO who's a woman, a CHRO who's a woman, a CFO who's a woman, right? And all these women are not just professionals. They have children, they have pets. They'll be like, oh, I have to drop my child to this class, that class, and their work is really good. When they come on stage, when they are with men, they make their presence known. And these are not exceptional women. These are women who did exceptional things by coming out of their box, by coming out of out of the perception of women. Because as a woman, right, you can go do everything, right? Sometimes you're wearing too much makeup, sometimes you're not wearing enough makeup, your clothes are not good, you can get into it. But the only thing that you can do is be true to yourself. It's super important. You dress the way you want to. Like, I am known to dress modestly throughout, whether it's in a work professional or whatever. I dress the way I feel I'm comfortable with it. And once I'm comfortable with it, I can sit here and talk and
Yeah.
show you that, hey, I'm comfortable, I'm confident, and all that.
Yeah.
So the only person as a woman that you need to be true to is yourself. Know your boundaries, set your boundaries, stick to your boundaries, but don't let them define you. Break
Yeah.
out of those boundaries when it's required. Like, it's like the packed lunch concept,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there is, if a packed lunch is good, but if it's not letting you go to the next level, is it really worth it?
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of thing.
absolutely. And I know the other day you were talking, you were sharing with me about how we should take care of ourselves and be there for ourselves, like, fully.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women will to this day feel like self-care is a selfish thing to do, right? And so we associate anything that has to do with taking care of ourselves as, oh, I don't want to be selfish, or, oh no, I don't want to talk highly about myself because I'm humble.
Yeah, no. No. So I think it comes from our moms itself,
Yes.
right? So some of us have working moms who never took care of themselves, because between work and house and their children, they never prioritized themselves. And now at this age that our moms are on, it's a very difficult concept for them to say, how do I prioritize myself? So when my mom sometimes sees me doing skincare and all, she's like, why are you wasting money on all that? Why is it even necessary? Like, no, mom, it's important. And I got her own set of skincare saying, do this, you'll know how you feel. And, and end of the day, you'll make yourself feel better.
Yeah, and they didn't even have that experience
No.
of even buying one thing for themselves,
Yeah.
right?
There was glory in their sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not worth it. Why are you're sacrificing
getting a medal
yourself.
when you die,
Nobody
right?
is giving you a
Yeah.
medal. No, your kids are going to go in their directions. Your husband's still going to do what he wants to do, no matter what your sacrifice is. So there's no glory in your sacrifice at all.
Yeah.
And if you take care of yourselves, like, basically, if your cup is full, is when you can fill everybody else's cup.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mistake from our moms that we have learned, saying that we are not going to repeat it. And surprisingly enough, our moms admire us for that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you know what? I actually like how you're living your life, right?
Yeah, our
and
moms
they kind of
admire
want
us
to come
for
to
that.
our manicure with us and do things with us, which is really, admirable
Yeah.
of them to do now.
Yeah.
But do you feel like men are also there now, because we're now coming to like marriage and relationships? So are there men that understand women who want to take care of themselves? Because sometimes it could be seen as, I want someone who's a nurturer. I hate
that.
I hate this
hate
word because it's supposed to be the most amazing word, like someone who cares about everybody. But now it's become this thing where, oh, you should be a nurturer, and if you're not someone who puts everyone above you, then you're a bad person.
Yeah. So, like, for me, for example, right, I don't put my husband above me. Never.
Yeah.
And he knows it. And he loves it. Sometimes he puts me above him.
Right.
And he does it out of love. And he also...
And of course, I'm sure you do too.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
And that's fine,
That's
but
fine.
it's the part where you're always the one putting,
Yeah,
if you're the
no.
one always putting yourself above,
There's no
below,
glory to that.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no glory to that, right? So here's my kind of 2 cents about it, right? Or just my observation about it. The more you prioritize yourself, the more the partner you are with also sees that, okay, this person is so confident in their own existence and prioritizes that self, that I don't have any leverage on them. If I say tomorrow, oh, I can leave you, this person's going to survive and thrive by themselves
They're gonna be
really
sure.
well.
You want me to show you the door?
Like, yeah, that's the way out. Go from there.
Yeah.
And they know that. And that, like, that's not a threat or whatever. It just drives more respect into your relationship,
Yeah.
right? Building yourself, being 100% literate about what you want in life. And it doesn't mean you need to have a career.
Yeah.
You can be a homemaker. But, after you're done with being a homemaker, if you know where your money is coming from, how to get that money for yourself, for your own independence.
Financial independence. Let's
I would
get
say
into that.
financial literacy more than financial literacy, right? I think we talk about financial independency versus literacy. When you talk about financial independency, you also don't credit the women who are homemakers
Yeah.
and home managers is what I would call them.
Nice,
And
I
there's a
love it.
lot of work that goes into them. The expectations from them to keep their houses clean, keep their children to be like all rounders, keep everything functioning is a lot, and it's not easy. They
Yeah.
never get breaks,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
never appreciate that, right? So end of the day, I think everybody needs to know how to be financially literate, know where your money is coming from. That's where you get your partner's respect. Now your partner doesn't have an upper hand over you, saying if I leave her, where is she going to go? There's no upper
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
There's your equals at that point, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think this speaks, I want to kind of go a little bit deeper into this because it's very important. I mean, there's a lot of women who love that their husbands are the primary financial providers and, okay, not primary, only, I think only. I don't know where I stand with this, Amara, but I personally feel like from all the experiences that I've had is that even if women are not like, or wives are not, making the big income, I feel like they should still do something outside the home to have some stand, if they can, like, or at least aspire to do something. Because my mom now, she says, oh, I wish I did those things, which in her time, and like she also had a career, like she was a teacher, then she became a principal, and in Saudi Arabia, education is a big thing, right? Big career for women. So she had a thriving career, but then when my dad moved, then she moved with him, and it was a default thing. It wasn't like, oh, you know what, let me, and it's not like my dad was bad or wrong or something. He didn't know better either. So he was just like, oh yeah, great, oh, so let's go together to Dubai, when we moved to Dubai. But now looking back, my mom would be like, oh, I wish I just stayed back in Saudi and maybe like kind of navigated, because, and the thing is, maybe she didn't do that because she didn't think of her career as an independent thing outside of the familial aspect, right?
Yeah.
And so I personally believe that, and I know everyone can't do it, but I personally believe that every woman should try to have some standing by herself in society and have some financial capability to make her own money, because I feel like then, otherwise the marriage could become, there could be some power dynamics involved, and I may be wrong about this, maybe I'm speaking from a high horse. What is your opinion though?
Yeah. So I think just the story you told, my parents did a little reverse. My mom actually did not go back with my dad when he wanted to. She's like, I am making good money.
Right.
I stay back here and I will do it. And she's at like in her 50s, she figured out how to do things by herself and alone, right? And her argument was, if my daughter can do it, why can't I? Right.
Nice.
So, and I love that for her. But you know what? This is a perspective. So this is, I think, a perspective issue, right? And it always depends on the partner dynamics. Women wanting to do something for themselves, sure, please never be discouraged by any circumstances to do something for yourself. I saw your mom taking parts in a pageant and I was like, wow, I was amazed by it.
Right.
I see you going through your pageants and I'm amazed by it, right? So you have to go put yourself out there. People are going to talk no matter what. I'm sure when you went into pageants, there were people who snickered behind you, and but you ignore all them and you go do what you want to do. End of the day,
people said, "Oh, pageants is just about beauty. Oh, why is this? Why are you doing something so superficial?
Stupid."
It's not about beauty, right? But like that, as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
And I saw the other side of things where I saw you, getting ready. I saw you practicing your stuff, your walk, what questions you're going to be answered and all. And I saw you being represented like AWS, women in aeronautics and all that. And it was I felt really proud. And I make sure to tell you, hey, Priyanka, you've done this and I feel really proud for you, about you, sorry, not you, for you. But women should be out there. Whether you want to be dependent on your husband financially, absolutely fine. But have that financial literacy.
Yeah.
Don't give that your husband or your partner or your father or your brother that power over you, saying, if not for me, where is she going to go? Nobody should have that power over you. Only you can have that power over you.
Yep, absolutely. And I think we spend years of our life making sure we are never at that point, right?
Yeah. And I think we have our moms to be thankful for the little teacher career that they built for themselves. Did not just happen, right? They broke their own norms in their kind of generation to be where they are, and they just imparted that to us and made sure, hey, scale up. And that's what we are going to do to our children as well, right, in the future.
Absolutely. And so what do you define as financial literacy?
For me, financial literacy is knowing how to make money. And it doesn't have to be anything big. So I will speak about this one woman who is a big inspiration in my life right now. She's my cousin, and who lost her husband with 3 little kids. She was not that old. She hadn't even turned 40 at that point, right? And she had never worked her entire life because her husband was more than happy to provide for her and like give her all his salary, saying, you figure out what you want to do with it. And then unfortunately, he also died at a very young age. She didn't know what to do. Her first thought was, should I go back to work? And someone said, at 37, nobody's going to give you a job. So she took the money that her husband had left and she started investing in it. She started investing, reading about what are the right investments to do, where should I invest, what should I invest. She reached out to people she didn't know and took their advice, and she compounds that money that he left. She didn't do anything. She doesn't have a fancy degree. All she did was research. Talking to the right people, again, networking. Networking in the right way, reaching out to the right people, saying, what do I invest in, what do I do? And she's so independent right now. It doesn't mean her grief has gone away, her missing her husband has gone away in any way, right? But she is so independent right now. I was so proud of her when I saw her. Like, she was driving me back to the train station, and she was driving so well, and I had to tell her, I'm so proud of you. Where did you learn that? And she said, I learned it from you. But she imbibed it. She lives it. Grief did not go away one bit, but her kids are well taken care of. Whatever her money her husband left, she made more out of it. And that's such an inspiration to me.
You know what, this actually reminds me of something as well, which is, you know, when I was younger, when I was in school, because people would look at me and I was tall. Well, you know, when I was tall for like an 8th grader.
And that's awesome.
Right? Yeah. When the people say, oh yeah, you look like a model. Of course, I didn't know what that meant then. I was just like, what? What do you mean? Anyway, but then over time, then when I was an undergrad, like some photographer, I was accompanying a friend and for her photo shoot, and then he saw me and said, oh, you know what, you would be a good model. So even though I did want to be a model, I also didn't want to just be a model in the conventional sense of it, where I'm only known for my beauty, because I never wanted to be known for just being a beautiful person. I wanted to be known for being intellectual. So I think what you're alluding to really around financial literacy is about having the ability to think and figure out ways to make stuff happen for you. Right?
Correct.
And I love that, because I think I try, and through this podcast as well, you know, giving women this exposure to understand how important it is to be intellectually capable, so that nobody can call you crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
And even if they do, it's okay.
Yeah, because you know at that point what you're capable of.
Yeah. Do you think you're crazy? Then okay, cool, babe, go be crazy.
Right.
Crazy is a good thing. You can't be a sane person and build Amazon and Microsoft. There was some craze in them to go build that, right? Be crazy. Just own up to it.
Absolutely. And so I love that, you know, I think we're talking about financial independence and intellectual abilities kind of going in parallel.
In parallel, yeah.
Which is exactly, I think, what even helped us in our relationships, which is what I want to talk to you about next, is your love life. I know you married the love of your life, and I'm so happy for you, because we both have seen each other struggle in difficult relationships before, right? What is some advice, drawing from your own experience, that you want to give to younger women who are in that process in their 20s, you know, trying to find a good partner?
So
what is right? Because in that time we didn't know what a good partner should look like. So whoever gave us even a little bit of attention, we're like,
yes. And we would go out of our way for them. I'm like, I cringe thinking about those times, right? Thinking about all of us at that age and the stupid things that we did. And then we found these amazing guys we finally ended up with, where we didn't even have to work hard. We didn't even have to go out of our way one bit for them, right? So women in 20s, here is my advice. If that relationship is toxic and you're hoping that he's gonna change. Girl, he's not. You're not the girl that's gonna change him. Men do change. They change for that one special girl. And if you're going to him and saying, please, please, please change,
No.
I'll do this. Nope, that's never ever gonna
Desperation
work.
never works.
Desperation never works. Toxic relationships don't work. Toxic relationships
Just get more toxic.
get more toxic. If he's toxic right now and ignoring your messages, he's going to do that next year too. Whatever you do, you can go lose weight, you can become really hot, you can get a good job, all that, he's still going to be toxic, girl. And it's not you, it's him. So,
and that's also because we've given them the permission.
Exactly.
If you've given them permission,
exactly.
right?
That's such a good point. That's such a good point. You've given him the permission to walk over you. Yeah. He's going to take it and he's going to, you know,
why not?
Liberty.
Yeah.
He's like, why not? This girl's cool. So even when we talk to our guy friends and everything, right, they wait for the permission. But okay, is this girl going to let me walk over her? And if she does, he's on it, right? So in your 20s, your relationships are not the most important thing. That's, I think, one thing that girls should understand, especially
I think
if
we
you
can
are in your...
conclude this podcast with such a good point. I love this point.
Yeah.
Like,
your relationships are not the most important thing.
They seem like they are the most, but they're not.
Yeah,
right?
That guy you're crying over is not the most important thing. And you will eventually find someone, not in the most conventional way, something like we both are with people who are younger than us, right?
Yeah.
And
not,
that's
in not conventional.
in
like
not conventional way.
My fiance is a fitness trainer, not tech, not the same. Needs to make 300k vibes. No,
he's not completely different. Even my husband and I are like, we are in the same career, but our approach to our careers is completely different.
Even personalities, you're very different.
Very
people.
different personalities as well. But we make it work because we want to make it work.
Intention.
There's correct. That's a right, perfect word to use. The intention to make it work, no matter what. Like if I have to go into my love life, it's a whole different podcast, and you know that. You know the struggles.
Please share some snippets. You know, your life is always so amusing because you always have something new. You're like, oh, Priyanka, by the way, I didn't tell you this, right?
Yeah. It's either my stories or somebody else's stories. But you know, I failed in love or attempt of love, and you know, my parents tried to find somebody for me, it did not work out, and I rebelled and I stood up. And that's the point I made yesterday. I 100% prioritized myself, my career, my independence over everything else, so that I never ever give anyone, my parents including, the power to make decisions for me.
Which I want to highlight the fact that nobody thought, everyone assumed that you're going to go with their decision because you didn't have the courage.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have the courage.
Yeah.
To stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Which that's the key part, right? Because
Yeah.
I think society will expect that you not to have the courage.
Yeah.
And then you prove them wrong.
Yeah. And I made many enemies on the way.
Sure.
I did. And I don't care about it. Like, go be my enemy. And I think the point where my parents tried to choose my own partner and I rebelled is where I was the biggest inspiration for me to also say that not everybody is on the same journey as me. Like, I cannot compare myself with you saying, oh, Priyanka got a job in AWS, I suck, I didn't. At that point is where I dissociated that thought process completely, and I said, I'm at my own journey, going through my own struggles. Priyanka is going through her own struggles. Soumya is going through her own struggles. And just because somebody is having a job doesn't mean that their struggles are any lesser than what I went through, right? So yeah, it's very important to be brave. You either have to be brave or you have to be smart. You sometimes you're neither, and that's the stupidest thing you can do for yourself, because being brave is a choice.
Yeah.
Being smart, at least I guess there's some nuances to it, but being brave is a choice. You have to be brave and stand by your decisions no matter what. Own up to your mistakes. But be proud that they are your mistakes, your decisions. Take inspiration from the strength that you have the power to make these decisions, and that's the game changer for women.
Absolutely. Just having the power or the ability to make your own decisions.
Correct. And I also acknowledge that we are sitting in a place of privilege where even if our families are a little orthodox and conservative, there's a boundary that they won't cross, and not all women are like you and me, where you know they have that courage to do that. I know we are talking from a place of privilege, but what you are living right now isn't the way that you always have to keep living.
Yeah.
You
like
have
there's
to
a
stand
path.
up.
There's a light.
There is definitely a path. There is definitely help. Seek out help. If you are going through that part, seek out help.
Maybe if you don't have the strength, talk to other people who do.
Correct.
Right? Borrow strength from other friends.
Correct. And if I have a woman reach out to me, nobody does, but if I have a woman reach out to me to just talk about her life and everything, I'm more than happy to hear that, right? I still have my friends who are in their 20s who want to come share some struggles with me and all that, and I love hearing it out. I can give you advice on it, but end of the day, it's your decision. I can be of help, but you have to be strong and brave in your own way.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the journey from when your parents found someone for you that then you rebelled against, and then to then finding the person that actually was the right one for you? Like, how did you know that, or what was the journey, and then how did you know that this person was the right one?
Yeah. So first, I wasn't looking anymore.
Right.
I was so focused on myself.
See, that's the key. I always tell people, like, you find these things when you least expect it, right?
Yeah. And I think when I was focused on myself, I became this new person who my partner, my husband, would like. And I didn't know I was becoming that person. I was just on my own path and my own journey. And if you ask my husband what he likes about me, he will always tell you things in this path that I did not notice. He'll be like, oh, she's so strong. She's very like confident with her decisions and everything. And I never see myself in that way. But I became that through my journey on focusing myself. And I'm sure you have the same experience.
Right. So, okay. So then you found this person who just noticed you from afar, and then you also did long distance, right? I've done long distance too, and so that's why I want to share with people what are things like that are definite red flags to do it long.
That's a very good point.
Right? Like, it's what
I don't know. I think the key to long distance is knowing when that distance ends. If you don't have that end date in mind, more likely than not, it's not going to work.
Otherwise, it's delusion.
It's delusion. You're in Delulu, and that's not a Sululu at that point. It's not. Like, there has to be an end goal. What was your end goal? Our end goal was we are going to get married. We're going to move in together. And that was our end goal. When was also decided a long time back. When? Okay, you finish your MBA graduation and then we'll get married and then I'll come here. So all that was decided.
Exactly. And it's not like, love is finding its way into, it's a logical decision.
And another point I'll bring up here, it's very important, is the choice that the person makes. In a long distance, it's so easy to cheat. The other person won't even find out. It is so easy. But you wake up every day and you make a choice saying, I will be a better person because I want to look at myself in the mirror and not feel ashamed of myself. And I think that I learned from my husband, because every day was a struggle for him going through life alone. But every day he made a choice saying, I want to be a moral person, so I won't do anything that's wrong.
Absolutely. And also, cheating is one thing. And then just the fundamental struggle of a long distance is very challenging for a lot of people, right? But I think in this context, putting your partner as well in a sometimes a little bit over you, because you're kind of prioritizing them and their life expectations, and they are prioritizing you. I feel like that's also very important, because I feel like one of the things that for me was the way, like a litmus test to know if a relationship is good or not, is the minute you start fighting for your own self is when the relationship is doomed. Right? You never find yourself fighting for your own self in a good relationship.
Yep, I agree.
Right?
I agree with that.
And because me and my partner, our fights are more like he's trying to do stuff for me, and I'm like, no, but I want to do something for you. And so our fights are more like that. It's not like, oh, I want to do this for myself, and he's like, oh, but I also want to do this for myself, right?
Yeah, it's a similar things.
Yeah,
right?
We fight the same.
We fight over the silliest things, like, did you give the cat food?
Right.
No, I forgot. How could you forget to give the cat food? Like, things like that.
Or it'll be something about your well-being, and you're like, no, I don't want to do it. Yeah. But then he'll be like, no, I want you to do it because it's going to help you. Right? It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And I think in our 20s, we don't realize this because we are the ones running behind a guy, right? So we're not the ones, and in that process, when you're running behind someone, well, you're also kind of fighting for your own life, right?
No, you're trying to prove yourself why you are
Yes.
good for that person, and you don't have to. The right person, you never have to prove it.
Yeah.
And things will flow by so well with the right person. I wish I could go back to my 20-year-old self and give her that advice over and over again. I wish, but this is something I'll tell to the 20-something girls. I see girls struggling, and I'll be like, girls, no, please just focus on yourself. Please, I beg you, please.
Because
just
there's
do
no
that.
time like the 20s to focus on yourself, right?
Just focus on yourself. That's the one thing. For all the 20-something girls, just focus on yourself. Go on LinkedIn and do networking.
Spoken like a true sales girl.
Do networking. That's better than going running behind that boy, I swear to God.
If you're desperate, go be desperate on LinkedIn.
Go be desperate on LinkedIn, not with that guy. He's not worth it.
So yeah, that's very interesting. So before we go into our last piece, any advice you want to give to young women, but also women who are in their 40s, 50s, and still maybe in the same struggle of finding the right partner, but just probably don't have any hope that they will?
I mean, don't seek out a partner. Seek out to make yourself better, and the partner is going to find you. And even if you don't, at least
it's okay, right?
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're at least going to be the best version of yourself and love yourself. That's very important. As women, we are never taught to love ourselves, but you have to love yourself. It's like the airplane analogy, right? When you have the oxygen masks falling, put the mask on yourself before you help somebody else, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be there at all. So don't actively seek out partners, or why you're not having a boyfriend, or why you're still single. Just work on yourself. If it happens, it happens. Otherwise, it's really not the end of the world.
Absolutely. And even if you are, like, let's say you're on a dating site, you're seeking out for someone, I think the message from you, Ammaarah, is to not give yourself away.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
That's the point. Is that
you bang on about that?
Yeah. Right. Is seek out things if you really need someone and you can't find anybody organically, but then don't give yourself away, because once you do that, you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life.
100%.
Right?
100%.
The pattern is set.
It's set, yeah. There's no glory in self-sacrifice at any point.
Yeah. So even, and it's not like, oh, you know what, for the initial stage of the relationship, I'll be more nicer.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll show them my true colors. No,
that's happening regardless, because, when you meet somebody, you want to impress them, and then your true colors cover up.
Impress is fine. But I'm talking about like the being overly nice, like beyond who you normally are. And then thinking, oh, eventually after they get impressed, then
I'll be back to myself. No. They are not. You don't have to impress anyone. You have to you want to create a good impression, and that's a different thing. But impress people you interview with, not people you have to date and stuff like that. So
yeah. So just to kind of conclude this episode, we talked about your career path, going into sales, moving from the US to India and then to Canada, and talking about networking, how important networking is. We talked about just the sales role and how women are still a minority in the sales role. We talked about love life, relationships. Is there anything that we have not covered, or that you want to cover a little bit more or double down on, just from your lived experience, assuming that people who are watching this love what you've said so far? Anything that you want to share that I have not covered?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think, just from my perspective, this was a regular conversation we would have had otherwise as well. We were having something similar yesterday as well, and day before yesterday as well.
And this is what we talk about, in our normal, like, we were sitting on the boat going to some place on a Saturday, like, fun day kind of thing. And we're just talking about this. Yeah. Other people are like, what the hell?
What are these two girls? Are they weird? Yeah. But this is our normal conversations, right? So, but just to summarize everything. Networking is your best friend. LinkedIn is your best friend. Realize your self-worth and prioritize yourself 100%. Just to summarize the whole theme of what we kind of spoke about so far.
Absolutely. Love that. And before we go into our final segment, which is a rapid fire round.
Fun. Like coffee with current vibes.
The fun, yes, exactly. It's a coffee with current.
Always wanted to do that.
Exactly. See, now you're doing it. Dreams do come true.
I know, right?
Before we do that, I do want to, I keep telling people that first give, right? In any relationship, friendship, professional relationship, romantic relationships, all those things, right? And I do this, I call it a game, and I know you find it really annoying, but I'm going to do this with you live because I want to show people how not awkward and how easy it is to just give someone a compliment, right? And genuinely, like something that you notice about somebody. So we're going to do it to each other. The same typical game. You know what the game is, where we tell one thing or something that we like about each other, right?
Okay.
So I'll start first, and I'll say that I really, you keep saying, oh, why are you suddenly saying I'm smart? It's, because I have been telling you for the last 2 days, oh my God, Ammaarah, you've become so smart. It's just that you've kind of almost shocked me by the level of smart, like I always knew you were smart, but sometimes some words or sentences that you've said in the last few days have really made me feel like, wow, this is something I have not even thought about, right? So I feel like you've really, become this, a holistic person, because, normally people are like, they could be very, polarized towards one side, or their opinions may not be very grounded. Maybe their career, the way they're going about it is not very grounded. You're not coming from a place of authenticity or being centered. And I know what it takes to actually come to a place where you actually love yourself and feel centered. Yeah, all our insecurities exist. I'm sure you have your own too. But walking hand in hand with your insecurities and actually thriving. So I'm really impressed by by you becoming a holistic person enough to hold your own space and, be your best self. So thank you for inspiring me.
Love that. Thank you so much. But with you, right, I have known you, for 12 years now?
Wow.
Yeah, it's 12 years. We met in 2014.
I think we need to stop this friendship after this episode.
Yeah, we'll be done after this. We retire. But with you, right, I think a lot of people, when they see you as someone who talks a lot of things, always laughing, cannot tell
Silly.
one story without laughing. Silly is a good word, right? But what they don't realize is the person behind that silliness, right? And you don't let them get to you. Even if you do, you don't show it out loud. And you take from every experience and you become better. And that's in a truest sense. I know people talk about it being a thing that you should do, but you actually end up doing it with every experience. Every year at AWS, you going through people that were not treating you in the right way. You took it and you became better at it. Whatever was happening in your personal life, you never let that affect your career. You showed up to work, you showed up, brought your best self, and you learned and you learned and you learned. And I think that's admirable, because not a lot of people can balance it out. I know girls who will be like, I'll quit my job because I had a fight with my boyfriend. I literally know girls like that. But you show up every single day over and over again, and you've become resilient. That's the word I would use for you. You've become resilient to it, and I admire that, and I'm so proud of you, because you will see every milestone that I see of yours or whatever, I'll come out and say, I'm so proud of you, because I genuinely am so proud of you. And that's how I talk about you to other people as well. Oh, my friend Priyanka, she's so cool. I'm so proud of you. That's not a compliment, but the resilience part is where
Thank you.
the compliment for you.
Thank you so much, Amara. I appreciate it. At least finally I get to... I'm just kidding.
But we are ending our friendship and we're retiring, so it's okay.
Good one. Now there's no stakes.
No, it's fine.
No trust is required.
Yeah. It's cool. We are done.
Yeah. So see, guys, it was easy. This is how you give someone a compliment. So reach out to your friend, reach out to someone in your community. Tell them how you feel about maybe someone you've been admiring for a long time. Just tell them how you feel, right? And see, it's not awkward at all.
People like it.
Yeah, people love hearing stuff about themselves, right?
Yep.
So just do it.
Yeah.
With that, we're in the final segment of
Fun.
the rapid fire round. So you can either answer in one word or one sentence.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Body language ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
Okay. So, this is more of a sentence question. One decision that changed your life forever.
Going back to India.
Ooh.
It did.
in a good way.
In a way, amazing way. Career, love, everything.
Oh yeah, you found the career fit, you found your love.
Yeah,
Love
everything.
Of your life.
I found my cat, so.
Yeah, and Rumi. Yeah,
Rumi
exactly.
was a big part of it.
So going to India is not the worst
exactly.
thing.
It's home.
It's home. It's home. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. A belief you've completely changed your mind about.
Competition. Like everybody is on their own path. Competition is good in a healthy way, but if it's affecting you, then no. Like be on your own. Be true to yourself. Don't get involved in the rat race.
I love that. It's very understated, but it should be. Yeah. Okay. One societal expectation you wish people question more.
Like question more as in voice out against it?
Yes.
Marriage.
Ooh.
So question it more.
Can we do half an hour? I'm just kidding.
More. We can talk a lot more about it. Question marriage.
Why? I need to ask.
Because everybody thinks that, once a girl, like especially the places we come from, once they're 21, they have to be married because that's their destination. But no, it has to be their choice. It's only with their choice can it become a successful marriage. So it's not a responsibility or a burden or whatever.
And it's not even an obligation.
It's not even an obligation.
You have to do it, otherwise you're not settled.
You have to do it before you're 30, otherwise you're not, question it. It's not, it's society, it's patriarchy, it's not the reality.
Yeah. And if you're making money, guys, you are settled already. You don't need
a man to do that. Your man has to be better at what he does. Or he doesn't even have to be better, but whatever.
Yeah. Like he just has to be emotionally complimenting you.
Yeah.
Okay. Success or peace?
Peace.
I knew it.
Yep.
But would you have said success in your 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Career ambition or life balance?
Life balance. Very important.
Important, yeah. But does this change though with age groups? Or is this an ebb and flow?
It does. Yeah. And I think you can only have a successful career if you have a balanced life.
I love that. Yep. That's actually a really good point. So yeah, guys, have hobbies.
Yep. I don't, but I still have a balanced life. I do a lot of other things.
Yeah, those are hobbies. Yeah. They're just not traditional hobbies, but they are hobbies.
They are hobbies nonetheless, yeah.
Okay, what's something you're no longer trying to prove?
Oh, I love that. My worth.
Your worth. Yep. Wow, I just got goosebumps.
I know my worth. I don't have to prove it. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, one thing you've learned about friendships.
That
I'm your best friend.
True. Very, very true.
For the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes after that we break up. Done. So, one thing I've learned about friendships is the good ones will always stay no matter what. There's always a good friendship. There is a, societal expectation friendship, but the good ones will stay through your thicks, through your thins. They'll be your support system, and you have to weed them out. It's not about having 10, 20 friends. It's about having those 2 or 3 friends who are your 4 a.m. calls, who know you, who will walk you through your struggles.
And who will be honest with you, but still will be your support system.
Very important. Right? You'll be honest with you. They'll show you the reality about you.
They might even tell you things that you may not like about yourself.
But they'll do it nonetheless because they want good for you.
Yes. And they'll still support you.
They'll still support you. Yep.
And even if they don't remember your birthday.
Yeah, we remind them. I remind you every year. Like, every year I don't feel bad. I just be like, hey.
Like I tell her that, hey, I can't. Yeah, so I'm like, please, can you message me? Yeah. So she messages me every year on her birthday. Like, hey, Priyanka, can you wish me?
It's my birthday. Can you wish me, please? I have no qualms about it.
Yeah, because I told you that I can't remember birthdays, and it doesn't mean that I love you any less.
I know. I understand that. So yeah.
I'm glad you did. Okay. One thing you've learned about marriage.
What I have it. It's a journey. I haven't learned anything about marriage. It's a journey. But I know that if you marry your best friend, the journey becomes a lot easier.
I love that. I love that. I always say to people, my partner, like Abhay is my friend, And they're like, what friend? What do you mean? I'm like, oh, trust me. That is what I wanted.
That's very important.
Yeah. Love it. One thing you've learned about yourself?
That I'm a fighter. Like, if you tell me I can't do something, I will work hard to do it. Like, I'm a big fighter. Like, I only have to prove to myself and I will fight to do that.
And you push your boundaries.
I push my boundaries,
I love it. And I can see that. I agree with you.
Thank you.
The last question. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big one.
Complete the sentence. freedom is dash.
Making my own choices and owning them.
I love it. So, with that, we have concluded our rapid fire, not so rapid fire segment. And before we conclude this episode itself, any last thoughts, comments to everyone watching, to something to leave everyone with?
Yeah. I think it's a theme that has been part of this conversation is prioritize yourself 100%. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Fill your own cup before you fill anybody else's cup. And be smart about networking.
Absolutely. I love it. All right. Well, thank
this
you.
Was amazing.
This. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this, Amaara.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you again in another episode. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.